Yes, it's time again for our bi-weekly chit-chat with Dr. Jaimie Ronchetto from Cinema Veterinary Center located on Cinema Drive in beautiful Valencia. And it's that time of year. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about spring and our pets getting bee stings and getting involved with, the other plant life and things like that. But now we're kind of shifting over from bee stings to the birds and the bees. And here's an incident. My sister, who had a cat that she thought was still kind of a kitten, a female, she took to the vet, and the vet told it she's an estrus, so you better keep her inside. Well, the cat still got out. And love was in the air, and she ended up with a litter of kittens, and so she now has 4. One unfortunately didn't make it right after birth, but this is a situation that happens. We don't always realize, or when especially our female cats are. Well, first of all, Estrus I thought was one of the planets that Captain Kirk visited on Star Trek. I had no idea, but more importantly, we're not necessarily as non-medical type people. We don't know exactly when that happens with cats. Is there something we can look for? Or is there a certain age where we have to make sure that we take them in for their little,
Yeah, so that's a very good question. As a general rule, around or by 6 months of age, to get your cat spayed or neutered is always a good idea. For males, it helps prevent them starting unwanted behaviors like spraying. They will start to have an odor.
Yes.
So if we neuter them by 6 months, then that will limit that behavior. And then we're certainly limiting, unwanted pregnancies that way too. As far as the females, spaying them at 6 months, you're catching them early enough that they should not have gone into estrus yet, but they're also grown, they're mature enough, so you're not doing it too early and potentially inhibiting their growth or anything like that from not having those hormones. So if we spay them at 6 months, we're kind of in that good spot where we're preventing lots of things from potentially happening. With cats, it's very hard because once a kitty goes into heat, you will know it.
Yes.
They become very vocal. They will try their hardest to get out of the house. So even indoor-only kitties that never care about going outside, other times they will try to get out. And so getting through those times is very difficult and challenging. That's why it's, again, better to do it before it even starts.
Yeah, that's what happened. We had a cat that somehow we didn't notice it in her first year, but the second year definitely was where she chewed a hole in the screen and got out. Fortunately, she didn't get pregnant, but we had a little kitten that was male that didn't know what to do. She kept kind of presenting herself to this little kitten. The kitten didn't know what to do, thank goodness.
Yeah.
But that was the thing. We got to take her in. But more importantly now, so let's say like in my sister's case,
Yes.
what had set the appointment, cat got out, got pregnant.
Yeah.
As it were. Nature is a wonderful thing. So what do we do? Let's, as she said, exactly 64 days later,
Yep.
The miracle of birth happened. Now, when that's the situation, and of course you want to go ahead and just let it happen, because I know there are some veterinarians out there who will say, well, if she's pregnant early enough, we'll terminate the pregnancies.
And many will.
But in this case, she was like, my sister, the animal lover. So she's got a little bundle of 4 little kittens. Like I said, one didn't make it. What do we do? What's the best thing we can do to make the birth comfortable, not only for the mama cat, but also make sure that it's not like a giant mess for us in our house?
So giving them a nesting box, some place to go, and they'll sort of make it their own, and blankets and somewhere that's nice and quiet where they're not going to be disturbed, so they can sort of set up their little house, their little nest, and then that's going to be where they're going to want to keep their kittens, especially while they're nursing. As the kittens get a little bit older, then mom may feel comfortable with them starting to roam just a little bit, but for the first several weeks, she's going to keep them really, really close to her. So they're going to want to have a contained area for her to corral them to. so while all of the birthing process, certainly you want to be monitoring that situation to make sure that the mama kitty or dog doesn't get into any trouble. If it seems like they're distressed, if things are not progressing the way that they should, then you really need to get them to a vet so we can help intervene.
Yeah, because it's hopefully everything goes naturally, but if not, then a professional is always advised.
Yes.
And I noticed also, because we had years ago had a cat that had managed to be in the family way, and as the little kitties get to be about 3 or 4 weeks, they also can scatter all over the place and get into things. So it's always good to keep them kind of contained.
Yes.
Although they're quite good at being a little escape artist. So that's good to know. And of course, also, when is, let's say, for example, you've got this little bunch of kittens to give away or whatever, what's an appropriate age to wean them away from the mama?
Right, that's a good question. The mom usually will start to wean them herself. She'll start pushing them away. But as far as giving them to a new home where they can be away from mom completely, 8 weeks.
8 weeks. Mm-hmm. And is it also a good opportunity to make sure maybe that the little baby kitties, even if you're going to give them to someone else, make sure that they're dewormed and
Yeah, starting their veterinary care would be a very good idea. Having them in for at least their first veterinary visit, making sure they're healthy, getting them dewormed, that's always a very good idea.
Outstanding. Cinema Veterinary Center, located on Cinema Drive in beautiful Valencia, cinemavet.com. And as a customer, all 3 of my doggies have been to Cinema Vet. I can vouch for their awesome professionalism. So the phone number is
661-253-9300.
Doctor, always a pleasure and always very informative. Thanks for stopping by.